All right, y'all. So, this is day 2. Again, I'll be talking about grief and stuff like that. But this is day 2. My mom has passed away. I've talked about this. And I think it's kind of important talking about my journey, talking about grief or healing or anything like that. So, I already had dreams and visions and things of this for a while. My mom kind of did too. She talked about it. And I was like, no, Mom, you're being crazy. Don't talk about that kind of stuff. Like, we don't want to speak that. Remember? Like, we don't want to speak and say that into existence. But it was already coming. We kind of already knew that. She knew that for sure. And I always talk about this with people. Sometimes when somebody is on the transitional end of it, they'll have dreams of seeing a past loved one. So my mom was already dealing with that. And she kept saying who she was seeing and who would keep talking with her and connecting. And so that's something I wanted to talk about. And it might sound crazy, like, again, I was her caregiver and things like that. But don't, if you have a family member or anybody that's going through this, don't kind of look at them like they're crazy, because they know themselves, they know their soul, they know their spirits well. So I would be like, don't talk like that. But during this time, I realized while this was going on in her process, she was actually telling me her wishes and things that she wanted. She was telling a lot of us, like, basically what she was feeling and how she wanted to be honored, what she was feeling, like, emotionally and like mentally with the transitional part. And then finally when she passed, we did normally all the typical stuff with praying and saying stuff. And remember, I've always taught everybody, when you want to speak to your spirit guides, when you want to connect with your angels, you have to like give permission and ask for that. So I said, Ma, and we're praying and we're almost finishing. I said, when you transition or when this is happening, can you please give me a sign? Like I always say that, give me a sign. My sign that I'm asking you is come back to me as a beautiful purple butterfly. You're like, what? That's crazy. And this is the beauty of it. Like, in physical form, she's gone. I can't hold her. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But immediately after she crossed, and I was, really sad, still trying to process it, I go and talk to the nurse. And I'm getting paperwork that has to deal with my mom. And as the nurse is telling me, I'm so sorry about what you're dealing with. She sounded like a beautiful woman. And as I'm looking right across, talking to the nurse, right behind her is this magnet that's a purple butterfly. And I'm like, what? I tell her, I'm like, okay, that's crazy, because I just prayed for that. Like, I just prayed to see something or to know she was okay. So the moral of this video and this story is, sometimes our loved ones go through transitions. Sometimes they can see that before us. Sometimes we can see it before them. But just trust yourself, honor them in that way. And when it comes to the after part, I'm still in this disbelief because her physical form is not here. I do want to be with her and touch her. But since she has passed, the presence of her is very close, personally, to me. I see a lot of synchronicities. I see a lot of different signs and things. Like last night, I have not had a dream yet. Visitation dreams, that is another big thing that happens with people. I've not had a visitation dream, but last night I felt the need to wake up, and it was out of my sleep. I had to go do X, Y, and Z. And there's just certain things I could hear and I felt that were important to my mom. So as I'm working on this stuff and I'm about to go to my computer and work on things, I look at the TV, because remember, everything, like a sign of synchronicity, music, all of those things. I go and I'm walking past to get to my computer, and as I'm walking past, there is a movie that's on, and I hear it and I'm like, I think this is what I think it is. My mother loved the movie Outsiders. She loved that movie. That was her thing that me and her would watch together, aside from other classic movies that she loved. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy because like nobody put this on. No one turned it on. I asked my dad, I said, did you guys like pick a movie specifically? I was waiting to see the answer. And it was just The Outsiders, the movie. And there was a specific scene where it's like the state golden part. And that was one of mine and my mom's like favorite things, the poem in there and everything. And when I walked past, I smiled because I understood. I'm like, okay, here is another sign. No, I haven't had a visitation dream, but this was another confirmation for me. Like, okay, she knows that I've been talking to her. She knows that I've been okay, but not okay at the same time. And so just just know that grief is really hard. The passing of someone you love is really hard because they're not there physically, but they're always going to be around you. This next time, this chapter of my life and processing it is just understanding that now, like, the presence of hearing the physical is just the change. But my mom and her spirit and anybody who's going through loss, they're going to be there for you. It's just learning how to navigate life a little differently. And the first day was completely rough. Today is still rough trying to walk around and do things, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to get through it. I know I am. It's just that it's a hard one. Like, especially if you're in a situation like me being a caregiver for my mother and anybody I think who caregives, that's a bit rough, the everyday seeing them and all of that. But just know you will get through it. It is quite the journey, but you'll make it through, and everything is a sign in synchronicity. You just have to believe it and believe in your angels and your spirit team, okay? So I hope this kind of gave you some information. It's a lot coming in, but I feel like it's something that you guys might want to hear. Bye.